That's a new option. Interesting. It did the thing. Hitting the button so that it just stops doing the thing. I'm going to hit the button over here too, so they're like sort of the same. I'm not live yet, so I can't do it on Twitch yet. Okay, well, let's make sure that we're live because it has in fact changed the way it displays, which is a little disconcerting. All right, YouTube is up and running. That's totally new and totally weird, but okay, I guess. We'll boot up Twitch, make sure that's up and running. Oh, excuse me. Ace is also streaming if you'd rather watch Paragon. Are good to go. Oh no, I closed the chat on my phone. No, stop doing that. No, stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Thank you. Just chat, please. Thank you. Boop. Done. Sweet. Okay, got 2 chats going. What do I need to get out of the way before we start? Oh, I have some tales from the tables that I'd like to share. Also what I should have done is... They'll be back in a second, don't worry. I have another file that I needed to open real quick, and now it's here. Alright, cool. Before we get into Sky Island Scramble and Adventures number 3, Tales from the Table I wanted to share. So my players had prophetic visions a couple sessions ago, and they have inadvertently been like the most useful catalysts ever to get my players to go do things. And like, that's crazy. My players like to spend a lot of time doing mostly nothing, so yeah, crazy. But my favorite response to any vision ever, and probably forever in the future, will be DM Bacon after asking what he does after having his vision and awaking from it. He just said, I roll over and go back to sleep. Because that will need to be unpacked at a later date. But that's the funny one. And I don't know, it kind of like all these, giving each of them a specific vision of a possible future is really strange catalyst that I wasn't expecting. Oh, we got to go do something. I'm like, oh, yeah, cool, go do something. But they did something else, and what they ended up doing is, in my world, I've got the House of Thalavar from Divine Contention and the Essentials kit from 2014. I don't know what I hear the new starter kit. I don't think the new starter kit's come out with 2024 rules, but I hear it's going to be some kind of edit of Lost Mines of Phandelver, which is weird because they already have one. They already have an edit of it, but whatever, they can do them. Actually, I think the starter kit will be Dragonlance Greyhawk. I'm not 100% on that. But whenever they release it, I'm sure they're going to redo Lost Mines of Phandelver again. Anyway, all that is to say that I've changed the canon slightly with the House of Thalavar, which is the Wizard's Tower that had the planar beacon in Divine Contention, and it's just in Lylon. And so I kind of have a reverse tower going right now. I kept the part where the Lord's Alliance come and knock it down because it was basically freezing people in place when they looked at it. And like, it's really hard to run a town, city, anything when everybody freezes in place when they look at the tallest landmark in town. So I kept that part. That part made sense. And now I've got like a reverse tower underneath it instead of it being rebuilt. And there's trials below for whatever reason. I mean, I know the reason, obviously. But yes. Anyway, I made a Patreon notes post about this because one of the things that DM Lacara has been suggesting for a long time for me is to release some of like the encounters and stuff that I've made. But I, coming from a background of product testing, like I can't, there'd be no way for me to reasonably or ethically, I guess works fine here, release content that I had not yet play tested myself. I've been iterating on these trials for such a long time. But the last Patreon or YouTube member notes post that came out was specifically about this. And I now have, in fact, had a chance to play test my first trial. And I know some kinks that I had to work out based on it, and some questions that my players brought up that I wouldn't have thought of while I was writing up the scenario. My players are real good at that, like real good at asking you a question that you'd be like, what, why? And then you gotta figure out how to close all those new loopholes that they're trying to create. And so now that I know it works, I would like to get at least that first trial out. They're avoiding the second trial, which is fine. I've only had these ready to go and been iterating on them constantly for like 2 years. So whatever, there's still time. People can still do them. But yeah, I finished the first one, so I would like to, at some point, release those. My Patreon notes post was more like, I'm gonna do this, but there are many options for release, and there are many options for how the information is displayed. So I have to work on those. But I mean, bare bones facts. I have to, before I can release them, write them in a semi-legible manner and have them be understood by people who are not in the Forgotten Realms, who are not up on the lore of both the regular canon Forgotten Realms that I started with, and then my tweaks to the lore. And also make sure that even if you don't want to use either of those, you can still use this in your own way. Because a lot of it is based on your characters themselves, because I guess you can call him the proctor, for lack of a better term, of this trial is psychic in nature. And it will mess with their minds, but it also has a job to do. So you can keep it has a job to do, and then specifically tailor it towards your players, because I think that's what makes it more fun, rather than just this is a thing that's happening and your players happen to be experiencing it. It's way more fun if this is a thing that's happening because your players are experiencing. I guess that's not true. That's more like railroading. You can definitely add stuff in to make it feel like they also exist in this world. I know everyone's like, man, don't be a storyteller, blah, 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 when you're the DM. But I think it's important to make your players feel like the world doesn't only exist because they're in it. Like other things are happening. That's how you make a living world. Other things are happening, even if your players don't actively participate in them. It's not just like the only things that happen in the entire universe happen specifically because your players were there. I think that's quite important. But that's just me. And that is all to say that eventually I will get to working on that. I still have some other stuff to work on first, but I will be writing those up and finding a way to somehow distribute them at some point. I don't know, like option-wise, DM's Guild or Drive-Thru RPG would probably be pretty good options. I could post the link or make it a PDF and then My idea, of course, is always put it as pay what you want, and if someone likes it, like if you're on DriveThruRPG or DM's Guild, if someone likes it, they can go back and buy it again with like real money. They don't actually have to pay you for it, but we'll see how all that shakes out and how I want to distribute it and how I want it to look visually, because I gotta write it up in a more coherent manner, or rather a manner that makes sense to other people besides me, because right now it's written out on multiple index cards and it makes total sense to me, but it will not make sense to the vast majority of people out there. So yeah, that was the first thing I wanted to get out of the way. And then speaking of that, if you want to become a YouTube member or a member on Patreon, you can do that. I have not figured out what this month's thank you stream is going to be, but I'm suspecting that we're going to play a game. I don't know if I'm going to do another clerical stream for it, but we'll see. And the other thing that I wanted to just show off real quick is my campaign. We had our first session where all the players were present for the majority of it for the first time in probably like 6 months, which was absolutely fantastic. And just like old times, a whole bunch of people slept over, and we had such a good time. But DM Bacon, I'm gonna switch cameras for a second. Boop. DM Bacon gave me, where is the camera? Yeah, zoom in on that AI camera. I don't know how well you're gonna be able to read it. No, don't zoom out. What are you doing? But he gave me a Dungeon Master's license, which is so cute. And at the bottom, it's like there's a spell on this. It will do not manipulate it. It's basically got like what the golems have, where you can't use transmutation magic on it. It's so cute. And this one specifically says like responsibilities, narrator, writer, and recruiting new players. And we're doing our best. Why is Twitch? I'm on Twitch right now. It looks like it's working. Yeah. Oh. Yep. Okay. Yep. It looks like it's working for me. I'm going to switch back over to this one. And chat only. Boop, boop, boop. You're everywhere. I feel like the Me 6 notification went on almost immediately tonight, which is very strange. But YouTube also, I don't know if it's YouTube or if it's OBS. No, because both machines, both my desktop and my laptop, OBS updated. I think it's a change YouTube made where when you're streaming now, you don't have to manually click go live. It just automatically went on, and now it has a new icon in OBS that says it's set to auto stop. And I didn't change anything. So I don't think that was me. I'm gonna carry this DM license around in my wallet for the rest of my life. It makes me so happy, though. It really does. And it's laminated. He loves me. He really loves me. Oh, I miss DM Bacon. I also told him, hey, man, any Monday night you're free, just jump on into the stream. We'd love to have you. Like, hello! Long time no see. It was a whole 30 seconds, maybe? Probably a little more than that. Also, related to streaming, but not specifically this stream, because it is my computer screen that's being streamed. Well, actually, this window currently. But, hello. Hi, Genki. Stick bug. Is that Bob Ross as a stick bug? I need to actually lean forward. Not just a stick bug with an afro. It's not Bob Ross. Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. Hi, DM Shin. I realized me saying, "Hey, Genki," means nothing to anyone unless they. No, not in Okami Kura. You have the Jesus icon actually. They wouldn't even know.
I prefer my anonymity. No.
Mm.
It's not even real anonymity.
What timing? Oh, where's the stick bug's head? Hello, DM Lacara.
Hello.
The head is gone. Now it's like, if you take this stick bug's head off, it looks like, oh my god. No. Cousin, no. Is it the hand, or is Thing the hand? In the Addams Family. Okay, Thing. It looks like Thing. Just a hand that's vibing. Vibes alone. Oh, but what I was gonna say is, I only realized recently, like playing back my own videos, that if I record from a console to my computer, there is a delay. And the way I fixed it was to delay my microphone audio to make it match the picture coming out. And I've been watching VODs because I'm still 10 months behind on people's content. But there's a pretty big YouTuber, and I'm watching his VODs now, and he's also 2 seconds. His voice is 2 seconds before anything actually happens, and it makes me feel cool that, like, I'm in the same boat, and I noticed it, and I fixed it. Because he hasn't fixed it yet. I don't even know if he's noticed it yet. But I'm too far behind to leave a comment and be like, yo, you got a problem.
You're never too far behind.
His was easier than mine. Since I was doing a puzzle game, it's just like I had to wait till a point where I was like, oh, I guess I don't turn it that way. And look at the screen and be like, I didn't turn anything yet. He plays a lot of action games. So he's like, I'm dead. And we'll be like, huh? And then he dies. And I was like, ah, okay. Same problem as me. Gotcha. But how are y'all?
Not too bad. I can't complain. It's yet another week of the roundtable. So it's good to see my fellow DMs as always, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I told Awaz right before you came in that I saw DM Bacon this weekend. I was like, yo, any Monday you're free, just come on down. Like, we've got this down to almost a science now. We know how to fit in our time slot, sort of.
We ain't sloppy. We ain't sloppy anymore.
Yeah. It's like almost a year. We got this down.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is it really almost a year?
Can't believe it's been almost a year.
I'm exaggerating a little. It's probably been...
That was like 9 months.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's our baby.
It is indeed. It has been brought to term.
Aw, we had a baby.
We did.
If that's the case, then things are about to get harder, not easier.
Oh, absolutely. Much as it should, I think.
Yeah.
Wait until we get to the terrible twos.
Incubation's the easy part.
Yeah, now we actually have to teach it. We have to teach it, raise it.
Yeah. Wait, as it wakes you up 4 times per night, even years and years into their life.
And then when it gets old enough, you can be the one to wake it up or confuse it during the day. My confusion today was I got a text that said, "Hey, did you pay this bill that I'm holding in my hand in Arizona? And if you did, can you tell me? How would I pay a bill that you are physically holding in your hand across the country? Please
I mean, I
explain."
imagine she meant, did you pay it online?
Most people would assume.
I can't log in. I don't have
Uh,
that information.
But this is a unique situation. So
But yes,
this is why we campaign so hard.
it's true. It's true.
We have so much to escape.
So
Yep.
much to escape.
Oh yes, one day, one day. Speaking of escape, so the vote
Gotta
for
pee
this week
a lot.
was adventure, and this particular adventure takes place in a specific campaign setting that we're not really going to go into, but the gist of it is that the person who made this, Garmbreak 1, I believe, really likes JRPGs. So this campaign setting is like his take on JRPGs, but nobody is gonna stop you from using this adventure's spine in any world that you want.
What's a JRPG?
Oh, like a specifically Japanese RPG.
Oh,
Like all their tropes and stuff. So like
It
right at the
usually
beginning,
focuses heavy on the culture as well.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
it has there's certain mechanics that are kind of what they consider based off of, or like the origin comes from Japanese RPGs, and since they are the I guess the original video game version, I guess is the best way to put it.
hmm
Whereas we created the American tabletop RPG, or the Western, I should say, tabletop RPG is probably the better way to put it, because there's influences all over, but which did eventually get adapted into a video game and anime in Japan.
Yep.
Record. So
We just feed off each other. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
I was thinking, as you said it, I was like, does that mean that like CRPG is the equivalent? Because a lot of people consider like CRPGs to be just like American. And
Kind of.
I hate that CRPG just stands for computer RPG, because that's all of them. They're all running on computers. If they're not tabletop.
I thought, based on JRPG being Japanese, that CRPG would be Chinese.
Oh, no. No, that would make
You
sense
know,
as well.
That would make sense.
No.
And then you would throw in the terrible ARPG, and everything would go to hell.
Armenian?
You know what? Kudos to you for going deeper into cultures and countries. Thank you, DM Lacara.
I immediately went African. Oh yeah, I'm sure people would be mad immediately.
I was gonna say Asian RPG, but I was gonna be like, that's such a broad term.
Mm. What up, Grimbo?
Hello, Grimbo.
Oh, excuse me. But yes, I think I'm
That's
not.
interesting,
Not
'cause,
I
like-
think I'm going to do it. I'm going to share this one.
Like, looking at those little, what are they, goblin dudes?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They don't look like Japanese goblins to me.
No. So, cool thing about this is Garmbreak 1 is not... So, this was released via 2-minute tabletop. I'm assuming Garmbreak 1 has, like, some kind of partnership with them, because he's been doing live streams of RPGs for a really long time. I didn't know who he was until I looked this up, and then I went and did research, because to me, 2-minute tabletop is two brothers, but mostly it's just Ross. And they make maps, but they also have a whole bunch of tools. Like, these goblins are from his token generator. And
token generator.
yeah, when I didn't have anything to go with or on, I found the 2-minute tabletop token generator, and I was like, oh, it's bare bones, but it's
yeah,
fantastic.
it's amazing. No, it will crank out what you need instantly. And I appreciate it every time.
So at some
But
point,
also
it
their
would do
maps are
tools
great.
probably be one of these guys. They also make
Also
maps.
their maps are fantastic. I have used a number of their maps. Actually, there's some of the first set of maps. And there's another map guy that I use. It's like 5-minute something, I think. I can't recall off the top of my head. And they provide a lot of free maps. And obviously you can pay for them as well if you have the money. But great resources to utilize when I started off. Don't be afraid to use them. They don't sponsor this stream. If they want to, cool.
Yeah,
but,
if you want to give it, we're not going to say no.
But we will say shout out to 2-minute tabletop for all the stuff that you need, especially if you're starting off. Great place for resources. I definitely second that behind Okami.
And like what I started with before being like, like when I started this stream specifically, not this series, I said like I'd probably go into pay what you want. A lot of 2-minute tabletop stuff is pay what you want. And it's the same kind of idea that DM's Guild and Drive Through RPG have, where you can buy the same thing over and over and over again. Like if you didn't have money at the time and you grab something, you could put in the 0, just grab something quick, throw it in the map, say your players liked it very much, you can come back and be like, I'm gonna buy, in air quotes, this again, and I'll just throw money at you. It's very cool in that regard. But yeah, Garmbreak 1 made this, and this is his world, so I was confused as to why it wasn't the 2-minute tabletop guys themselves, but that is a thing. He actually has like a whole sheet where you can learn about his world that he runs games in, but we're just going to ignore that. He has some tips and stuff that we'll talk about because they're at the beginning of this adventure, but you don't have to follow any of those rules if you don't want to. Just run your game in your game. So if you're on YouTube, you can actually follow along with us by clicking the link in the description below. If you're on Twitch, I'm going to throw it in the chat and pin it for the next 2 hours. Haha, I know how to do this now. You guys can't see it because you can only see this window, but I have like all programs open of stuff that I will eventually need today. I'm sort of prepared for once, which is nice.
Look at
You're
this.
prepared a lot.
I try.
Look at you.
Don't undersell yourself.
I will also say, the 2-minute tabletop site, super well optimized. It actually moves based on where you're zooming. And I was like, oh, you are way better than like many full websites that are like made by full web designers. Good for you guys. You did great. But yeah, basically this is going to be, because it's very JRPG centered. There's like airships and stuff, like Final Fantasy 6-ish, 7-ish, that kind of stuff. You're flying around. There's experiments. There's no live stream though. We don't need that. You could put live stream in if you want, but you don't need to. But character generation wise, you can for sure use the 2-minute tabletop token generator to make your tokens if you're playing virtual tabletop. But Garmbreak 1's setting only has humans and Uluro, which are tabaxi, but they're small, like goblin sized. They're not medium sized creatures. However, you can do whatever you want. You can run this same thing with any race, any species, any class, subclass you want, because it's going to get into, oh, hey, You can only have wizards. Nah, you could do whatever you want, bros. Or sisters, or Alluro, or Tabaxi, or goblins. Do whatever you want. He even says, I'm not going to yell at you for playing it differently. He's not.
It's not gonna come down out the sky, like slap the dice out of your hand and knock over your DM screen. How dare you?
So, would one of my other fellow DMs like to give people a little bit of a gist on Velistra, which is the town this takes place in? Or, doesn't have to be Velistra, it could be any town you want it to take place in.
Cool fortune.
Well, Valestra, in this setting, is a small town with houses of white wood and red roofs. The tallest building is the steeple of the Church of St. Antaglia, which houses a bell that rings at sunrise, noon, and nightfall. The steeple is made of red bricks covered in white paint, and the youth of many generations have climbed up the brickwork to gaze over the town and the forest beyond. Halfway up the steeple, the paint has been scuffed off one brick where someone's foot climbed. All right. I could continue on reading, but it seems like we're getting a little bit more of a setting and idea of this place. It's very JRPG. It's very the small town you grew up in where everybody knew your name and nobody's famous for anything. Super there's probably some orphans lying around or some friendly priest that everybody treats like a secondary father type deal. And we do see this. We get some actual individuals that we'll find in the village, which I think is actually kind of cool. We get Fenric, the village elder. He's an old man with 2 red markings on his face in the shape of a sans serif J on the left and a mirrored J on the right. He handles the mundane affairs of the town, where to build what, and so on. I'm trying to picture his facial markings right now.
I have never seen someone use fonts
Yeah.
as a way to describe letters. I mean, it makes total sense, but I've never seen anyone do that before.
Yeah, it's quite bold. He's like a sans serif J. Like, oh, okay. Let me go over to an open page on Doxer in Word and type that in.
I was like, should I do it? You know what?
No.
Oh, am I the only nerd here that knew exactly what that looked like?
I tried to rack my memory banks to see if I did. I'll be honest with you. I was coming up a little short.
Jeez. I thought everybody knew what a sans serif font looked like. I have favorites.
I'm not against the favorite font.
I am that dork that spent more time figuring out the fonts on a presentation than actually writing the content.
Ooh, I'm there with you when it comes to thumbnails. I'll spend there for I'll have the whole thumbnail done and then I'll be like, but what font do I leave the text in? Thankfully, I didn't have to with this one because he had already written Sky Island Scramble. And I just took that and enlarged it and put it on the blank white canvas that was already there. I was like, I did my job for me. Thank you. But yes, would you like to continue with Kale, the hunter?
Yes. Naturally, Kale, hunter. He's a hunter and a tanner skilled with a bow and dedicated to using every part of an animal he kills. He has a necklace whose pendant is a bear's claw. There's 2 black lines encircle both of his biceps, obviously to indicate he's strong as hell. Probably the guy who has taught everyone how to hunt. Contrasting him is, of course, Father Miles, the priest. a local representative of sky worshippers, which I'm guessing is a religion in this setting. And he has a very good memory. He preaches to the town at every major holiday. And he has a series of small black rectangular patches on his left arm. Are these people supposed to be human?
I guess, because there's only humans and cat folk.
Just
What?
because these
They have
are some
weird colors.
interesting- Yeah, these are some interesting markings on their body. And
Yeah, it doesn't say
Ranau.
their tattoos.
Yeah, they are tattoos, maybe.
Oh, I bet you this is like a Mashal thing, because reading later, everyone has some kind of mark on them. They must have marks to show that they can do something.
I see.
Again, I didn't read about Iridian 9.
It's okay.
But we're pretty sure.
I'm fairly confident there must be meaning behind the markings that we just haven't gotten in this. But to continue through, we got Samantha, the short, stocky woman with a blue hexagonal mark over her left eye. She's friendly and kind, and many of the village's children help her during preparations for the summer festival.
Oh, she's gonna get kidnapped or something.
That's exactly what I
Absolutely.
thought.
They're just gonna find a warm pie sitting on a windowsill and nobody
Yep.
bakes.
Yep.
And naturally, to contrast the short, stocky, happy-go-lucky Samantha, we have the tall, dark-skinned, black-haired, yellow diamond mark on the left side face Ranau, who works as the weaponsmith, armorsmith, blacksmith, farrier, and occasionally it's carpenter as well. The man does everything.
I mean, just say he's a blacksmith. They do all those things.
So, like, if you kidnap this guy, can the town do anything without him?
Well, Samantha can still bake, but that's
Oh,
about it.
true.
He makes up a frenzy, though. You gotta bring it back! He's a serial baker.
I immediately had a flashback to there's a game that came out way back when on the computer called Giant Citizen Kabuto. And
Oh my god.
when you start the game, you like land on this alien planet, and one of the first people you meet, you have to rescue them. You bring him back to his house. And it's like a comedy action game. So you bring this guy back to his house. He sits down at his dinner table and he bangs his fork and his knife on the table and he's like, "Where's my dinner? Where's my dinner?" And then the camera zooms into his face and he goes, "Oh my god, I forgot the wife. We have to go back."
Wow.
True.
So many bad stereotypes in one scene.
It's also true.
That's all I can think of. Also, these little like map interstitials, these are from all 2-minute tabletop maps. And a cool thing at the end is going to be where Garnbreak's like, should you wish to run this adventure without any tools at your disposal, why not check out these 2-minute tabletop articles and items on offer? And I was
Here's
like,
all the things.
that's a good way to do it, my guy.
Yep.
So we come to feast night because the story begins on a feast night. I don't know if you want to read what a feast night is, because I'm pretty sure many people can figure out what a feast night is. But if you want,
Oh, but there's problems with this though.
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
Uh-oh.
go on.
Right?
Not to inject a little ecology here. The story begins on a feast night. The feast is being held to mark the first hunt of spring, and as such, there's plenty of grilled deer served with bread and blueberry jam. Okay, this is a different world. Maybe their seasons are different. But spring is the absolute. Deer are scrawny and underfed from having all of their food under snow through the winter. And in the spring, they're basically skin and bones. You
Huh.
hunt deer in the fall when they have been packing on weight for mating season and the winter. Also,
I've...
blueberries don't grow in the spring.
You have just explained something to me. I have always wondered why you kill deer in the fall, and then you saying it made me realize because they're fattened up to make sure
Yep.
that they have food reserves. Ha
Yep.
ha!
Also, you take them out in the fall, hopefully there's fewer of them reproducing, and then you don't have them actually literally starving to death in the woods during the winter. Deer overpopulation is a huge problem in every part of the country that doesn't have wolves.
I love that we need. I don't know if you've ever seen the meme of when they started reintroducing wolves to Colorado. There's this meme where it's like a 2-panel comic where they're like, we need to stop the overpopulation of deer in this area. And in like the little corner of that first panel, it's like, send in the wolves. And it's just a picture of a wolf paratrooping out of a helicopter, and he's got like a knife and fork in his hands.
Yep.
Wolves are good.
But
Love
I
your
mean,
wolves.
you can. Okay, they do say blueberry jam. Maybe it was from the previous summer that they had like canned and were eating. So that's okay. I'll give them a pass on the blueberry jam.
For now.
All right, all right.
A deer head with impressive antlers sits in the center of the table. That's just horrifying.
Like,
I
it's
am
not like a
not
pig.
against. I'm not against bagging a deer and eating it. But you don't put the head in the middle of the table. There's just something wrong with that.
Just hanging out.
Putting the head in the middle of the table makes me feel like this is not a feast. This is like a sacrifice party.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like the difference between the like, thank you for your sacrifice, we will live because you did not, versus the we're reveling in your blood.
It's definitely not giving the most comforting feeling.
Let's
I think this one could have gone back to the drawing board.
I need someone to read Elder Fenrick's speech because I thought it was going to be happy and it is not, and that is not what I was expecting, but I like it.
Maybe that's why there's a deer head in the middle of the table. Do you want to do it, Shin?
I will happily read the Elder Fenrick's little blurb. Gather round, children. Spring has started, and as new plants take root, we must remember ours. In eons long past, we lived in the sky, serving the sky people with gratitude and humility. Their presence brought us warmth and contentment, but our ancestors grew greedy. They grew to envy the sky people and tried to take their place as the divine protectors of the world. They failed. For their hubris, we were cast into the dirt, sentenced to serve out our lives in the filth. Perhaps if we conduct ourselves well enough, we may one day be permitted to soar the skies again. He looks up sadly at the sky for a moment before continuing. But for now, enjoy the feast, the bounty of the hard work this whole village has put in. And may the rest of the season's hunts be as fruitful. Praise the sky!
I thought this was going to be an uplifting speech, but no, it's yo, we suck, bro.
Yeah, that was we ruined ourselves.
Extra points for working in hubris.
Good job, dude.
No, this is a credit where credit is due moment.
Yeah, this is
I will-
definitely not giving off the warm, fluffy vibes.
No,
No.
it is not. I don't. Originally, I was just assuming because it was a JRPG that the chosen one lived in this village. But I think everyone who lives in this village sucks.
Pretty sure this village is chock full of pain and or some form of suffering, it seems.
So the next part is like this is a good time for role play to let your party talk amongst themselves and what have you, or any of the party involved in the hunt. So this is supposed to be like your starter adventure, but at the beginning it says this is for characters of levels 3 to 5. You could even use this as like the jump off point for your characters to like get into stuff that's happening in the world. The hunt could have been your actual first session.
Yes. Technically, yes, it could.
Or you
Or
could
it's
even be like, and then go back and actually play out the hunt. That was my terrible attempt at what the music that plays when a flashback happens.
Hey, I assumed as much. I didn't think that you would finally hit the shutdown moment of life. And you didn't sound like Windows 95 shutting down, so I knew you were okay.
But hey, we have cool stuff here. There's rumors. I love almost anything that's like, hey, if your players ask around or they roll this or that, or they ask this specific person, tell them about this, because any of these could be future quest lines or stuff like that, or it's just random stuff to make the world feel lived in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't see why we can't have little nods to like, oh wow, hey, you really asked the right question.
I don't think this says it. I think this is one of those times where someone's writing something and they tell you to do something, but then explain it way later. Darhaden is a neighboring country.
Okay.
Yep, that makes sense.
Or I guess neighboring fiefdom would be a better term.
I don't know what really, I'm going to be honest, and maybe this is my own ignorance. I don't really know what quantifies a fiefdom.
It was any small area that like a single lord or somebody like enforced control over. There wasn't a set size to it.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. It was just that they held people in fief.
Gotcha.
It's more a statement that they're in like the in a feudal system.
Okay. All right, that makes sense.
Didn't know. I was like, I have no idea what language or word fief comes from in regards to like a ruler, but it's not.
Yeah. No, it's not the ruler's name. It's holding people in fief, which I'm pretty sure comes from Anglo-Saxon.
I'm learning so much today.
Yeah, even the DMs learn at the round table.
It's true.
I had no idea what a JRPG was.
It's true.
Bang. Look at that. Education across the board.
Not the kid in the green tunic that came into the pottery shop to break all the pots. I was playing a remix of Zelda earlier.
All your pots are belong to us.
You've probably never played a Zelda game, so for some reason, all the stores and people in the Hyrule universe keep their money in pots. So
Terrible.
The main
Terrible.
character, Link, is famous for picking up everyone's pots and smashing them to get money.
And the thing about it is that you're never actually asking the owners of these homes and establishments, like, hey, is it cool that I've just run into your home while you were eating dinner with your family and smashed every pot you own? Because, and don't quote me here, I almost guarantee they will say, please don't.
Yeah.
Like, I'd appreciate it so much more if you chose not to do this. I digress.
So you have Darhaden people. It seems like stuff sucks in Darhaden. And the one that really weirds me out is that an albino deer was sighted during the hunt, but no one managed to slay it, and this is considered an ill omen. Because usually it's like the shinies are worshipped in these worlds, especially in like a JRPG world.
Yeah.
So I'm like, it's weird that it's an ill omen that no one killed it. I would think if anything, it would be an ill omen if it didn't kill any of you.
Yeah.
Maybe there's something about it that harms everything around it.
Could be. Basically, what? Automod popped up. Okay, hear me out. Hear me. Automod popped up on what you said, Awaz, and it says, I've held the message for reason, race, ethnicity, or religion. And you wrote, don't kill the white stag. And the red part here is kill the white.
Oh my god.
Automod is way more racist than you are.
Oh.
You would think there being a don't in front of it would matter.
Oh my god, that's fantastic.
Not here. Not where it counts.
That's fantastic. I've added the permitted term "kill the white." Oh, this is mwah. Today's a good day. I was like, what the hell? I didn't even know I had an auto mod. What is that?
That's a hell of a statement to have added.
How often do you think that's gonna come up that you added that to allowed phrases?
I'm kind of curious, like what?
Oh, it's
That's
fantastic.
I don't know what happens when we're not here, but it doesn't happen more.
Oh, that's fantastic. Oh, thank you for that, Automod. Thank you for that. I needed that. My nose is running now. But, as most JRPGs, either your mentor dies, but I feel like that's just every RPG, or your celebration is cut short, because as the feast starts to wind down, a flaming object passes overhead. It looks like a sky island crashing to the ground.
Of which we know nothing.
Yeah. I just like a flaming object. So what I've skimmed this before. I assume they meant like a catapult coming by, but no, this is like an Earth mote, a piece of flying planet
City.
fell down.
Mm-hmm. No, this is literally the Gaia itself just flung into the sky, now descending upon the Earth again.
How do we know that this sky island wasn't also forced to live in the filth for its humors?
Oh my god. It has the same shame as the people.
I mean, I guess you have to go ask it.
It's true.
I love this part. How does the party react? If the party's uninterested in seeking out the crashed Sky Island, well, skip the next several sections, or badger your players about their lack of adventuring spirit.
Ah.
Why don't you want to be adventurers?
We all took the
Why are we
commoner
here?
background.
We all took the commoner background. Ah.
Oh my god. They're all trainees under various members of this town. One's like a priesthood trading, and one's a nun. Another one is a baker's assistant.
Yep. The other one works the bellows at the forge.
Mm-hmm.
I think I
This
need
is
to...
how you make the. This is how, and then you turn them into adventurers. This is how you start the campaign.
Hmm.
The commoner background.
I think with a piece of the world falling down, I think a little R&R is a little too happy. So I'm gonna skip to the next song a little faster.
I will say, it seems like he really wants to set the tone here by giving you such an insane anime opening.
Right? Now we need to see them. Okay, since it's a JRPG, there's no reason for you not to play extremely like quick BPM pop music and have your characters running, probably with water in the background at some point.
They have to like kick off running into the distance as they run and show the power of adventure and make their way towards the great whatever that is ahead of them, because that's the only way they will ever be able to find their truth.
It's true.
And the music's playing will just be slapping just in the background. Some woman who will be some poor, artist who will be thoroughly underpaid, that will be singing their heart out for a solid 3 minutes, that will have you on YouTube looking up the extended cut every time.
Oh, 100%.
Every time.
100%. Who would like to tell us about the Sky Island?
I'll take it.
Go for it.
You can tell you're getting close when you find trees with the tops shorn off. You follow the path of destruction and reach the clearing where the Sky Island landed. The surface of the island sits a few feet off the ground, and on top of that there is a steel and wood building. Part of a building, anyway. This was once part of a large structure, but was shorn off when this island broke off. Of what? A bigger island?
I'm guessing his. So someone just like used their limit break sky cleave and just like cut the end of this island off.
Like,
No, island, get out of here.
No, serious question though. Like, is there a floating continent? Or was this just part of a slightly bigger chunk of floating rock? Like, I literally don't know enough about this world to know what we're talking about here.
This is
Honestly,
no. Go ahead.
I was gonna say though, honestly, I wish I knew myself, because now I have more questions.
Right? Like, maybe we should have read up on the world.
Let's see. Blah, 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 blah. We are in a kingdom, I guess. Blah, 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 blah. I like that he uses all the 2-minute tabletop tokens. That's cool. Darhaden is an empire. Okay, cool. That's a cute little cat guy. Oh my god, his symbol is fish. Love it. Cute.
Whose symbol is fish?
I'm guessing this must be some kind of cat cleric. The Sky People have floating lands. Oh, and pieces of their lands broke off and drift away, sometimes crashing below.
Oh, okay, so this is not even unheard of.
That's terrifying. That makes it so much worse.
Yeah, it's a little unsettling.
That makes it 100 times worse. You could just be going about
I
your day
mean,
and an island can fall on your head.
the world we live in isn't that different.
Don't tell me that.
It's Junkyard's not wrong.
Like
I wish DM
between
Lacara was.
meteors and asteroids and all of our space junk, like
So
Yeah.
far,
that
they
far
have
off.
not described it as being on fire. You're correct, Awaz. Why was it on fire before? How high up are the Sky People's cities if it caught fire on the way down? But it should still be burning when it hits the ground,
That's
I would assume.
yeah, that's fair. See, I'm just assuming atmospheric reentry, but yeah, why was it on fire?
Sure, I will be with you 100% and blame the wizards. That goes without saying. But why is it not
Sounds
on
The
fire
justified.
wizard did
anymore?
nothing wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Inside the building is six small vats and one much larger. One of the small vats is intact, but the rest are broken, with their contents spilled across the ground. Floating in the last vat is a short humanoid with large ears and 3 fingers on each hand, floating in green liquid. As is the start of every good story and X-File.
Mm-hmm.
The treasure chest near the entrance contains an odd assortment of supplies, including a short sword made of metal with veins of orange crystal running through it. There's also a magic crystal sitting on a cushion. And then it goes on to elucidate that, like, the other stuff that you can loot from the lab depends on the classes in your party. They're meant to be signature items tying the character to the setting and narratively justifying their increase in level. So you've got all the usual suspects for classes with the addition of an alchemist and a craftsman. Alchemists get a book of concoctions, many of which are explosive. It is
It was the
written in the language.
alchemists.
It was written in the language of the Sky People, but some of the pages near the beginning seem simple enough. Barbarians get a battle axe made of crystal-infused metal. The handle has a grip made of a soft but grippy material, making it easier to keep hold of. You and I know this material as synthetic rubber.
Do we?
Do the
Okay.
other people not know rubber?
I guess there's no rubber in this world.
It's been outlawed. What is that, rubber? Kill him!
That was what got them thrown out for their hubris. They discovered rubber.
Ban them from the castle.
Cornbreak one's gonna be like, "What are you guys doing to my campaign setting?"
For making it ours.
Yeah.
It's ours now. Sorry.
Yes.
Oh.
Alchemical bag of dicks.
Alchemical bag of what?
Hey, was
The
said
crafts-
concoctions.
Oh god. The craftsman gets a Swiss Army knife, essentially. That's not banned, but rubber is.
Absolutely not.
A druid gets a bat necklace that lets them wild shape into a bat once per day, but doesn't subtract from their usual wild shaping.
Mhm.
Once used, it cannot be used until the next dusk. Good points for that not being dawn, because it's
Yeah.
a bat. Thank you.
Mm.
I appreciate it. Fighters get a shield bearing the crest of the 5th King, a Sky People monarch that's been dead for decades. It is durable and easy to repaint.
So,
If you just feel like redecorating?
It's a very weird, specific thing. Well, I guess if you walked around with a Sky People Monarch symbol and you're just a lowly human living in the dirt, your town elder will make fun of you.
Hey, peasant. Peasant with the dangly thing. You're still a peasant.
Monk gets a moon bead necklace.
Okay.
Necklace of silver beads glow in the dark. It waxes and wanes with the cycle of the moon. Paladins get mighty glove with an orange gem in it. Lots of orange.
I'm guessing your magic crystal must be orange.
Yeah, it is. I don't like orange.
And this is from before they officially said your paladin could use their divine smite via their hands. Even though I've never met a DM that was like, it says it has to be a weapon, I'm gonna make you do it through your weapon. I've never met a single DM, and if I had played in a campaign where a DM said that to me, I'd be like, you're boring. Get more fun.
Yeah, I think I would just object.
Yeah. I mean, the obvious answer is just to bonk everyone on the head with your weapon.
Well, yeah, naturally.
Ranger gets a compound bow.
Oh, yes, love it.
Rogue gets a knife of crystal-infused metal perfectly balanced for throwing.
As all things should be.
That's all we need.
I mean, that's quite the trick if you've got crystal in the metal to make it perfectly balanced, unless you make it so that the crystal's running exactly down the center. But magic. And wizards use the sort of spell channeling crystal used for magic in this world. God damn it. Every time I read something, somebody's stolen my world. Decoding its knowledge and mounting it on a staff or necklace or other flamboyant object.
That's a weird way.
Whether it's flamboyant or not is down to the, design you put it in, isn't it?
Yeah.
You would think.
It's a weird way to put it, but okay, dude. Sounds like
The
wizard
basics
slander to me.
The basics can be grasped by a talented amateur. In addition to this, there's a glowing cylinder with a handle on it sticking out of one of the machines. The cylinder is roughly the same dimensions as an energy drink can. 7 inches tall, 2.8 inches in diameter. That guy was sitting next to an energy drink and a ruler.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, he had everything sitting next to him.
He was typing in sans serif.
He's like, I need something. I need something size comparison. Yeah, there it is. Energy drink container.
This is the This is the energy core used for powering many Sky People devices. This is also the MacGuffin of the campaign, the thing everyone wants and will hunt down the party for. And they level up upon finding these things.
Yeah.
I appreciate that they're just like, this is the MacGuffin. Like we're not gonna hide it from you. We're not gonna sugarcoat it. Like this is it. They want this.
The next part makes me so happy because I have read this section, and like you knew there were goblins involved in this because they're on the thumbnail for it. But like the goblins are like, why the fuck did the sky fall? And your people can be like, I don't know, and then just walk away.
Yeah.
just leave. Hey, what happened? It's crazy, huh? Where are you going?
I
love how it says they're incapable of true speech but can grunt, point, and gesture.
Racists. They can have a language you don't understand, man.
Statistically, these are standard 5e goblins. Page 166 of the Monster Manual. You know them, you love them.
This
Like,
one's
these
my
are
favorite.
just goblins.
The one in blue, because he's like, like he's got a job to do.
Well, the one right next to him, the one with the like the pigtail
Pigtails.
mohawk combo and the flexing chest. They were definitely at work or asleep when you disturbed their day.
I also like how surly this one is. The girl that's clearly stolen something. Or maybe she hasn't. She's giving you that look because you accused her of stealing. Maybe she's never stolen a thing in her life. Wow, I'm the racist now. Damn it! First auto mod, then Garmbreak 1, then me.
Terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible.
Also, he definitely said at the beginning of this that there's only humans and Iluro. And then we learned sky people as well. Where did these goblins come from?
They're interdimensional.
Goblins don't really need a source point. They just are.
They appear in every campaign.
Yeah, I think like instinctively you have to create something goblin or goblin adjacent.
You just have to. You can't not.
Well,
Yeah,
also,
like it just appears.
I'm a little confused because I thought that the goblin was what was floating in the tank.
Oh no, we haven't
And we were
gotten
going
to
to,
that
like,
yet.
discover them, and then they're like, "Oh, there's goblins outside." And I'm like, "Wait, then what was the thing in the tank?"
Just
Oh,
another
good stuff.
MacGuffin. Except it's a dude.
Dude MacGuffin.
That's his name.
Yeah.
Oh,
MacGuffin.
actually, I thought that we... No, yeah, no, I thought they talked about it at the end. They don't. Not brought up again.
What's not brought up again?
The guy in the bat.
So maybe it was a goblin that just like went in to investigate and tripped into the vat.
Yeah, he fell in and that's it. That was everyone forgot about him. He
It
fell
might be at
into
the very
a
end,
vat of forget.
but my God, yeah, no, you're right.
He fell into a vat of forgetfulness where everyone forgot he existed, so no one ever remembered to come back for him.
Awaz, you're filling it in right here. Maybe that vat makes you a goblin in your campaign, because he didn't say what they were. He basically described like a Vidalkin though from Magic the Gathering. Just a smart blue dude. Now you're sad. It's okay. You can be sad because whether the goblins are killed or left alive, nothing particularly notable happens on the way back to the village. The party may want to reflect on the events that have transpired, but they don't get attacked by deadly slimes or anything. They also just left a guy in a vat of liquid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I want to talk to you guys about. Oh, but he's blue skinned, so he must be a sky people, and therefore us as filth, we're not allowed to interact with him, I guess.
Thus, we just leave him to die?
We're the
Didn't
best
say he was-
adventurers ever.
It didn't say he had a blue skin.
I thought it did.
A short humanoid with large ears and 3 fingers on each hand floating in green liquid.
Oh, you're true, they did not.
I thought that was a goblin.
Oop, I skipped too far.
So confused.
Ah, well.
Yeah, I am too.
Then the real JRPG starts, because when you make it home
Yeah.
again. As they approach the village, however, they notice something concerning. As you return to familiar scenery, you notice something new on the horizon. A pillar of smoke, black and heavy, coming from the direction of your hometown.
No.
No.
Not Samantha.
The biscuits. Not the biscuits.
Who would like to fill us in on what's happening in Ballistra?
I got this one. As they elegantly so named it, home again. As they approach the village, I hold on, wait. Okay.
That's no longer on
Question.
fire. Don't forget, it's no longer on fire.
You
You know who it was? It was the fire giant of evil fire. Thank you, Hasbro and Watsy.
I'm struggling with this one because this is far too anime opening and JRPG for its own liking right now for me.
Yeah.
But we note that we're under attack from the forces of the Empire of Darden. Is that how you pronounce it?
I was saying Darhaden, but Darden sounds cooler.
Soldiers roaming the streets, looting and burning things. And most of the townsfolk have been rounded up in the center where the feast happened. You get there just in time to see Darden soldier, Elder Fennec, or if the party is fond of another NPC, change it to be that NPC and says, so natural betrayal.
I think there's supposed to be a comma in there. Or a with.
No. I think it's supposed to say in time to see a Darhaden soldier kill an Elder Fenric.
Oh. I thought it meant that you were going to find out that the Darhaden soldier was Elder Fenric or another NPC that the party was fond of. I mean, that's two different directions.
Oh, if you the flavor box tells me he's supposed to have grabbed Elder Fenric, or Samantha if you prefer her.
Would you like to leave the flavor box for us, Okami?
Sure. A black-haired man with a red pauldron on his right shoulder presses a sword against Fenric's neck. Tell me where that Sky Island came down, you worm! I know it passed over here. Tell me or I'll run you through, he says, loud enough for everyone to hear. I would assume he wouldn't whisper it, but okay. You see Fenric's eyes flick over to where you're hiding for just a moment, and he takes a deep breath. It crashed to the north, he says. A few leagues north. Now leave us alone, you pillager! I guess everyone's down here in the filth. The black-haired man pulls his sword away from Fenric's neck, examines the blade for a moment, and looks at Fenric. Thank you. Was that so hard? He then turns to one of his subordinates, a man with a blue pauldron. Take these people away and anything else of value back across the border. The rest of us will go retrieve the energy core. The fire will take care of whatever remains of this little hamlet. I don't know, man. An island that was on fire is no longer burning, so I don't know if fire is that reliable in this world.
These guys don't strike me as the sharpest tools in the shed, so. Mm-hmm.
But this is for sure the beginning of like every Tales game. every JRPG ever.
No, this is absolutely how the JRPG starts. This is like you have to now stand there as the tears roll down your character's face as they flicker in the flames and like some orchestral music starts to play as we fade out into the sky. This is where we cut another montage before the game starts.
I have 2 comments.
Please. Yes.
First off, if they could get here by the next morning, like the next day, they would also have seen where it went. You don't need to be questioning people from like a town over.
That's exactly what Awas said. Awas says,
You
it's right over there. It's the new mountain that was not there the day before.
yeah. Yeah. I'm right there with Awaz. That's like you clearly weren't that far away.
No, we were too far.
Also, that has to be the moment. Like, he doesn't let Elder Fenric live after that. He like turns away and you like kind of stag with relief, and then he just turns back and stabs him.
Yeah, there's no reason for him to examine his blade and then not kill somebody, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely watching them die in that moment. And he's gonna smile at you when he does it.
Yep. He's gonna be like,
Yep.
I've saved the children. The next generation is "Ah!" The will of fire has been passed.
Not the will of fire. God, please, anything with the will of fire. Still trying to escape its will. The black-haired man is Nathan Silvestri, the Haden warlord. He is 20 years old. He is accomplished.
Reading 20 just like over and over again, I'm like, bro, I've
No.
done nothing with my life.
No, too young. Too young. This has got to be the guy with like 2 scars across one eye. Like,
Yes! Yes!
you can't be 20 and doing this because people just wouldn't take you seriously. You'd go to threaten them and they would just laugh at you.
No, he looks 20, but it turns out he's 20, but it actually turns out he's 2000 because he just steals bodies. There you go.
Yep.
He is not 20, though. They'll think he's been 20 this entire time. People will swear he's been 20 this entire time. But he believes that the Sky Island that recently crashed contains energy core, which it does, as mentioned above. He intends to use it as a powered, refurbished airship to wage war on the Sky people. So he's from the filth, and he's sick of it, so he's getting militant.
Okay. Hear me out. I'm going to assume that one airship is smaller than a flying country. So, like, I don't know if you're going to wage war with one airship against a floating civilization, but that's just me.
Hey, he's working with what he's got.
Yeah.
Listen, Man is fighting hard with limited resources here. He believes. He believes, and we're gonna believe in him and his one airship.
He's doing his best. He has clawed his way up the ranks, and every night before he goes to sleep, he gives himself the affirmation, I am doing my best.
Well, you know who else is doing their best? Okami.
Oh.
And you can help him continue to do his best by doing a couple of simple things that I think DM Lacara tells us best.
Hit the buttons. If you have money, hit the buttons that give Okami money. There are many of them. There are YouTube subscriptions and Twitch subscriptions and that other thing, Patreon, and our Redbubble store, and all the things that give Okami money. And if you don't have money but wish you did, hit the buttons to like, subscribe, share it with your friends, bring them in on the crazy. It's fun. It's good crazy. We're benign crazy.
Yeah.
We do our best to make sure everybody's happy. I forgot to throw out the subscribe record. My bad.
It's okay.
Yeah, okay, I already like your strategy better. Awaz is like, yo, where'd them goblins go? We need an army. Now we have one. Goblin team up. Let's go. Because we're the only people from town that aren't racist, that don't think goblins aren't people. Boom.
Hell yeah.
Give the goblins a fighting chance. I like it.
Mm-hmm. Also, just send them in to do like small, really obnoxious things to the warlord.
Oh, 1,000%.
Oh, yes.
You know, like stick a hedgehog under his pillow.
Mm.
It's so random, but I love it.
No, he needs to be tortured within an inch of his existence at all times.
Yeah, make him twitchy about that bedroll. Make him start losing sleep, start making mistakes, make his men start questioning him. You know, the all-out offensive is not always best. Sometimes psychological warfare is your best bet.
Very
I
true.
all I can think of is there's an episode of Adventure Time where Princess Bubblegum gets de-aged, so she's like Finn's age because she's like thousands of years old, and Lemon Grab takes over the country, and they just play pranks on him all day long. And one of them is they put a note under the other pillow in his bed, and he unrolls it, and it's like a huge scroll, and it just says, "You're stinky." And he loses his mind over it. Like, he sends everyone in the castle a dungeon.
I will say, if you're not, I have a hard time trusting this 20-year-old megalomaniac who knows of ancient airships and doesn't have an army of goblins.
But you're right.
That being said,
Like, now that I think about it, just the idea of this one guy, like, he's a young warlord. I'm sure there are some people who were scared of him, but like, it's so unrealistic to have such a young dude commanding like bloodthirsty men, you know, because they don't have the same kind of respect.
Yeah. I'm wondering if he's so much a warlord as just like he's aspiring to be a warlord, like he's just picking on he's got a band of punks essentially, and he's trying to work up the street cred to be a warlord.
mm-hmm.
I mean, look, the guy's asking which way to the giant flaming mountain. He's clearly not the brightest bulb in the circuit.
It's true.
He is new to this.
That's very true.
Do you remember where the boom came from? That's where we're going. I also like the idea of it's not a rebuilt airship, it's a refurbished one.
I imagine it's left over from when they were like allowed to be in the sky.
Yeah.
Which makes it sound like that wasn't that long ago.
I don't think it was.
In the filth? How long have they been punished for their hubris?
Well, their airships still work, so. And clearly, there's been not enough time for knowledge of airships to have been forgotten.
Yeah. Someone remembers.
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
It was the Elder all along.
Elder Fenric, no. Also, I love...
Never trust a man with 2 red J's on his face.
Should have known I couldn't trust you. The J's should have given it away.
They were sans serif. I knew it.
They were sans serif. Mom always told me never trust a man with sans serif.
You casual buffoon.
How dare you send me this?
Also, the soldiers dispersed to follow their orders. What? What are the orders besides leave and steal? I mean, I guess steal shit, but like, he clearly sucks at being a warlord if he's just gonna leave all of the prisoners unattended. Why don't they just run?
Yeah, yeah. That's my thing here. It clearly, you captured these people for no reason if you're willing to leave them unattended for a few minutes. You mean to tell me you have not a single soldier or two to spare? I have a hard time believing that.
Sonic
No, he's a punk. You know what it is? His daddy is the actual warlord. He was brought up under an overbearing father, and now he's getting out there and trying to prove himself, but he's a punk. He's a dweeb with like 6 soldiers.
see that. My players yesterday, one of my players has decided that they want to try to woo someone who was their enemy until like 2 sessions ago.
Doesn't work
And,
that well.
At the end of our session, they were like, "Can I hug him? Does he know what a hug is?" And I was like, "Huh." And my players were like, "Do goblinoids know what like affection is?" And I was like, I mean, he's specifically a hobgoblin, so I'm pretty sure most of his upbringing was someone bigger than him telling him that he was better than everyone else smaller than him and smarter than those furrier than him. So I think that's like his whole society. There's probably a lot of whipping going on. I don't know about time for hugs. I don't think they do hugs.
Is there some?
They don't know what hugs are. Oh my god. I was like, that is not what I wanted you to take from that.
Is there some narrative purpose for their wooing of the?
I think part of it is they think he's relatively high ranking in the goblin army. He's not really. I mean, he's someone who was changed. He's a void hobgoblin. So like my hag did experiments on him and now he can teleport into darkness and he can essentially Shang Tsung style suck your soul. So he is certainly more powerful than the average goblin or goblinoid, but I wouldn't say he's high up.
No, he definitely got most of them on beaten there, I think.
Yeah. I think that's the goal they're going for. I'm like, I mean, that's not how I would do it, but you guys do you. You can keep trying.
Yeah, hey, that's the beauty of it all, right?
Yeah.
Interpretive. There's no right way to play D&D.
Gay powers to the max when they can suck your soul out.
Listen, there's no wrong way to play D&D except with 2024 rules.
Yep. Oh, okay. And adding an addendum to that, for those of you that have access to the repository and have seen it, I've been putting in stuff from this supplement that I'm reading that clubs gave me, called Gemhammer Grimoire, and I don't know. Some of it is okay balance-wise, but there's a whole subset of spells that these guys came up with that are supposed to be only for people of draconic ancestry, and all of them suck. Like, they're the worst spells I've ever seen. And there is an 8th level spell in there. An 8th level spell where if you do not have draconic ancestry, all it does is give you +5 AC for 1 hour for an 8th level spell. If you have draconic ancestry, in addition to having +5 AC for 1 hour, your unarmed strikes do an extra 2d4 whatever your elemental affinity damage is. Why? 8th level spell?
That should be a few D10.
You would
8th
think.
level spell? for +5 AC. What? Like, some of them are real bad. Real bad. And it's like they're specifically supposed to make dragons feel cooler. You've made them feel infinitely worse.
Mission accomplished. We failed.
I love just talking about people who could do huge cool magic and what have you back in their day. And I just love that the 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 reasoning canonically in D&D specifically is that when you go past 9th level, you start doing things that mess with like what the gods are doing, and the gods are like, "Oh, no, 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 no. You peasants, that's not for you."
I think now this is just me. I think there's not enough reason to pursue magic at that level. Though, to kind of tie it back in, maybe that's what's hidden in this Sky Island.
Hmm.
Maybe that's how we buff it up. I say that because I do like the idea of the Sky Island Scramble. I think it's cute.
It's a good starter adventure. The fact that we've no mention after humanoid in the vat of it. I believe. Oh, here we go. One last thing. There was a big monster in the largest vat. It's a big scaly beastie. Just use the stat block of a bear if the party wants to hunt it down. Otherwise, we'll look at it again later. I, I No, I thought there was for sure gonna be a spot where they talk about. So you literally just left that person in the vat.
Oh.
Abandoned. You just don't give a shit about that person. Yeah.
I'm just gonna look up a bear's stat block. Just a regular old bear. Oh, that's right. D&D doesn't have a regular bear. You have to choose a bear subtype. Thank you. I'm gonna go black bear. No, wouldn't a brown bear be meaner? Brown bear would be meaner.
Yeah, brown bears
Brown
are usually
bear.
bigger too.
Okay, 34 HP isn't bad, but okay, if it's a big scaly beastie with wings, why would you choose a non-flying creature?
I'm getting the feeling that this was not perfectly thought out. I do get that feeling. But I also say that because I don't, as we were going through this, I see that it's cute. I think it's very lighthearted. I think, again, it's a good idea for a starter adventure if you've never started an adventure. You know what I mean? Kind of like Hook. And you're really big into JRPGs. Or more looking at D&D from the video game side of things. But I think it's going to leave a lot to be desired. Like, it doesn't seem to give enough to tie up plot hooks.
Yeah.
It's just like, haha, you did it. There's a thing out there. Good luck. You'll maybe deal with it one day. If you want to. Like even the little blurb about like, oh, if your party really feels like it, I guess we'll give you something to think about.
Yeah. If your party doesn't want to go on an adventure, I guess you can just skip the whole rest of this and go look something else up.
Like, why would that be a thing that you allow? I don't know,
And
maybe
like,
it's me. Maybe I'm crazy.
as adventurers, why don't you want to? Like, are you sure you like did you not come to role play and play your game? You just want to sit. I mean, sure, there are plenty of campaigns where people end up like running a tavern or something in town. But I mean, the town's going to be on fire soon, so you don't really have job security.
Or jobs.
It's true.
There's just a strong chance that you are unemployed. um,
Just like real life.
Yeah.
there is a chance that life imitates art.
Oh, not sad. I should finish Shining Force. And by finish, I mean start the actual game, because I only played the demo over and over and over again.
Sometimes you say things and I'm just like, yeah, that tracks.
But, super cool thing about this is because it's part of 2-Minute Tabletop, it has all these cool little recommended things that are actually already on 2-Minute Tabletop. And they're all semi-related, being that you can get a set of Steampunk Lab things, random battle damage assortments. So like if you're playing VTT, you can just like throw them on top of stuff. But like 2-Minute Tabletop makes real good stuff, and a lot of the packs of things are like the same map but with slight differences. Like, oh hey, here's all these vats, and then in a different color scheme, they might have other things in them. Like they're really good about giving variations of the same map. And also apparently assets that you can just slap on here and there to customize to make them yourself. But like the packs, you always pay for. If it's just one map, usually it's pay what you want. So you can put in the $1 or you can hit 0 and grab it. This one doesn't have any other variations. But
like I said, I appreciated it when I was starting off.
It
was DMing can become an expensive thing.
Please don't remind me.
Or not.
A lot of it depends on how much time you're willing to put in.
Also true.
It's time versus money.
The graph is not the greatest.
The part of this that makes me, like, at the end, the stuff that's suggested, the Steampunk Laboratory makes perfect sense, because you want those big vats and stuff. You want to show people that, oh, that humanoid is in the vat. That makes sense. The battle damage assets, all this fire so that stuff can burn, and then you can forget about the fire and it goes away, as if you, as the DM, not having object permanence affects the world that you've created. But then there's also Coastal Town, which you could possibly use for your version of Valistra or wherever you start. I think this one makes sense because the water's to the south, and you expect them to be coming from, I think they said Darhaden was in the east, ? So this sort of makes sense. But there's a bunch of maps in here that are specifically for, like, Goblin Camp and Goblin's Big Rock, which perfect naming. Thank you. Amazing. Goblin Big Rock. And, like, the goblins are just there. They just happen to show up, like poke their heads out. You would think if you're thinking of goblins as less than regular civilized folk, that they would be hiding.
Not my goblins. They're just out and about.
And that specifically gives me the vibes of, I don't know how many of you out there have played Genshin Impact, but the hilly churls are like the basic enemies. They're essentially their world's goblins. But everyone's just like, oh, they're not even people, blah, 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 blah. And then you have this one girl who lives in town, and she insists that she's going to learn their language. And, like, you actually have to learn snippets of their made-up language to help her talk to them without violence. And I'm like, that's kind of like what it is. If they're going to have settlements like this, like, a person who can't use tools and can't figure things out is not going to be able to build this weird shanty town outside Goblin Big Rock, or build this nice little area at the Goblin Camp with their throne and stuff. Clearly they have some kind of civilization going on.
You would imagine so, yeah. Then again, you never know.
Yeah, never know. Okay, I need to know if you mean fuck yeah, like together, or Goblin Town, fuck yeah. Now I don't know what timeline where it was. But yeah, it's cool that I didn't know 2-Minute Tabletop had adventures and stuff, and the fact that they're here, that you can use their assets. They're like, here you go, have some like you can use these to run this. That's super cool. I wish more places had. I mean, sometimes you download adventure from DM's Guild or something, and it has all this stuff built in. But this is just like stuff that you might want to use, because there's nothing in this adventure that says, hey, you go back with the goblins or you try to talk to the goblins. But these maps tell me you probably could.
You can do whatever you want. It's D&D.
Yeah.
The beauty of D&D.
And I didn't realize this until just now, but a different person made these tokens. So it's like 3 or 4 different people working on this one adventure, which is pretty cool. But it's still using the 2-Minute Tabletop token generator. I probably should have started with Junkyard Isles, which is the song that's currently playing, because it's very upbeat. Probably should have started with that before
the
filth.
For the filth and the planet dropped.
Yeah.
I'm just, again, like I said, it was a very, to me, interesting attempt at an interesting adventure. I just don't know that I have enough to push my party forward in the world as is. Like, I'm gonna, like, the world's already, just from the intro of this game, I've thrown out half of this book. Like a bear, like, just from you telling me that there's a bear level enemy in that vat, no. There's something they can't fight. It's ripping out. They think they wound it, and it's going to chase them for the rest of the campaign. Bam.
And even just adding
It's
that.
the BBUG.
Yeah. Even just adding, hey, in the big one, it was this flying thing. That tells me there was something in all of them. And only this one guy isn't free. Who you left there and is never mentioned again.
I hate plot holes like that. They're too obvious. Close your plot hole.
No, I think it's supposed to be. It's giving you hooks.
If you're willing to put them in.
True. It does provide hooks for you, and that is a large chunk of the fun in D&D. But I do think that this particular adventure seems to also want you to follow a certain world and kind of like function in a certain world setting, at least as it's written. If you want to take it in the true sense of D&D, you can do as you wish at all times with this, but in the sense of what they've provided you, you're gonna have a little bit of trouble working with this world unless you came in with like a fan of the world that it stems from. Like you followed everything that 2 Minute Tabletop has done and have put together the entirety of the story and know all the lore and the fun background stuff. Unlike us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking this may all be totally explained if you know the world that it's set in.
Yeah. Like this everything we said could be null and void if you've followed the lore. And then in that case, you're still wrong. No.
Oh. So I went over, if you go up to the top of Skyline Scramble, it'll take you to the world primer for Iridian. And the main country that you're in is Keterin. And Keterin Institute for Research, they talk about the scientist guy who always has a notebook with him. And he uses a huge telescope so that he can take notes on sky people, artifacts, and things. And that just tells me he's a giant pervert. This is why we're in the filth, my guy. You're using that telescope to look into sky people houses and shit.
This is why we're in the filth. This guy is the reason we're in the filth, is what you're telling me. If he just got it together, we'd be so much better.
Same idea. You're right, DM Lacara. Same idea that not same idea, but the wizard uses magical crystal in place of a traditional spell book.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's my setup. We really have to do a session sometime that's just us talking about our world.
Yeah. So at the very beginning of this, I was talking about how when I do like my catch up of like background stuff, yada yada. I put out my Patreon post for this week was me like fishing for ideas, but to tell people that I'm finally going to do one of the things that you've been pushing me to try and do, and like write up my trials and have them put out. And reading this makes me feel like I finally play tested my first trial. My players went through the first trial that like I've been iterating on for like 2 years. And going through it with my players, I know it works, but I obviously can't release it notes wise as is. It makes sense to me, but it's not going to make sense to other people. There's so many little holes and stuff that you got to throw in there and put like little things here and there to be like, yo, you don't have to use this for you. I will give you the basic gist of how this is supposed to function, and you can tailor it to your world. That makes sense too. But like, I didn't want to start doing any of that until I had actually play tested one of them. And like my players specifically, they're very good play testers because they ask things that I truly feel sometimes are meant explicitly to piss me off. But they're things I would never think of otherwise. So they asked many, many questions, and I was like, oh. Now I'm like, oh, and reading this, I'm like, I can see all these like little loopholes I have to fill in for other people to be able to use it properly. But I would like to start doing that. I don't know how I'm going to release them yet. That's mostly my post. Like, I don't know where I'm going to release them or like what format I want to release them in. But again, that's all the stuff that comes after it's actually written up and done.
Yeah, that's half the fun. And again, if you want to witness all that fun stuff come out from Okami, click all the buttons. Check out some of the dope merch that DM Lacara has carefully curated and put up. You can get merch that's related to things that you hear us say from time to time on the channel. Save Steve. Avoid the demiplane of sludge. Get your education from the Ouroboros of education. You know, find yourself a little orphan magic. Specifically, Victorian.
That's true.
Kind.
Oh, of course. And many other things that we get to share with you week after week here on the Roundtable. You know, it's dope that we get to do this and help Okami out with this. And if you've been following us this long and you have been able to do any of the things from the free tier to the paid one, thank you.
Yeah.
It is dope and appreciated.
I definitely think I like made a sort of like sheet for myself to keep the polls going and to know like what our topics were before, so that I'll know like what to swap out when I do them. But definitely show and tell has to be on there. We gotta add that to the next poll. It won't be on this one because I already did it. But speaking of that, for those of you on Twitch, if you don't know how the polls work, you guys can help us pick the topic for next week. We have a poll in our DM chat, and we each get a vote, and then the community gets a vote. You can leave a comment on the YouTube VOD. The poll's only up for 24 hours, but you can leave a comment on the YouTube VOD. You can respond to it right as I post it on YouTube or Twitch, or you can come in on the Discord or like Twitter, hit one of us up and give us your vote for the community. But we figured out last week that I can make polls on Twitch. I can unfortunately only make a 5-option poll. So what we've been doing is running a 5-minute poll with the first 5 options and then another 5-minute poll with the second options. I just have to make sure that my eyes are directly glued to the screen because Twitch's polls disappear, which is stupid. Incredibly stupid.
No, that tracks.
But we have this poll, and next week I'm going to put fucking show and tell on it. But yes, I made this file so that I can just easily copy paste everything, make my life easier, rather than having it written physically and then having to type it 3 or 4 times over and over and over again. Because I'm dumb. So this is a much simpler system. But yes, I will keep this up here. And that is one of the many files I opened at the beginning. I was like, oh yeah, I can do this. But yes, we have to do show and tell at some point. We all have lots of stuff from our various campaigns to talk about. Yeah, all thanks to AWAS, really. Good idea. I was also thinking of maybe I don't want to railroad people into anything, but I was thinking of changing the way the polls work in that we start removing them to make the choices smaller until we've hit everything in there.
Mm-hmm.
As in like we'll force everyone to try this kind of thing, but I don't know how well that's gonna work.
It could work to see if certain topics actually work or not. I'm not against it.
On that note specifically, I'm thinking at some point we should at least hit. It might help actually hit all the topics. It's like we have one of each, so you're right, so we know how we can run them. This particular adventure was for the previous adventures episodes, we've realized we can get through like one adventure. This one is kind of sparse. So we finished a little earlier than expected. But a lot of the other adventures I've got are either much more fleshed out or much longer.
I think that DM Lacara is correct in the sense that it does give you a lot to run with. If you want to just use the imagination, put in the footwork. This is a footwork and concept adventure, I think, especially if you had no idea how you wanted to start your cliche adventure.
Mm.
Like if you wanted something super anime to happen, but you didn't know how to run it, this is it.
Yeah. It's a good guide.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of things that you could swap in or out to make it more unique.
I think, like the mentor, this particular adventure is not good for someone starting, but pretty good for someone who has DM'd before.
Oh, you reminded me about the mentor.
Oh, it's so good. I was explaining my players. Grim's still not here. I know he's not here because he's playing Borderlands. I can see it on Discord. But he comes in at the beginning. My players don't really hang out and watch the streams, so I'm not worried about them saying anything. But sometimes I start talking about stuff, and they're like, "Oh, I really wish you'd take a look at it." And I'm like, we spent 3 hours on it, or we spent like 5 weeks on Archibald's Archive, my guy. That thing that you wanted us to look at. So yeah, I did. But I was talking about the mentor with one of my players, and she was like, "Oh, so like the class that you would love to be in everything ever, just so you can help the other people." And I was like, "Sure."
It does kind of have you written all over it.
I know, it's so nice.
And it's basically who you were at school.
Ooh, speaking of the mentor, it's not a 5e class, but there's a source book that's about to come out for Pathfinder 2e, and they're adding 2 new classes, and one of them, the champion, is essentially the mentor, except that it also has the capability to, I don't know if it magically summons them. I think it's just NPCs that you recruit. But in addition to having all the weird powers like, oh, I make my teammates attack, I improve their attack, I help them with things, it also has the ability to control units on the field, like NPCs that it can send out as troops. I was like, that's a interesting take. Kind of like a pet class, but if all the pets were humans. Or whatever other race, species, ancestry lineage you were playing. And the other class is just pure tank. But they're calling it the Guardian. And again, I'm not big into Pathfinder, but the way that they're describing Koopa Troopers, the way that they're describing what's happening in the Pathfinder storyline currently is really cool. They have giants from another plane, which is truly... Ooh, I see it. Okay, items. Okay, first set is over. I saw it this time. Oh, it lights up green when it's done, too. And it will disappear momentarily, which is stupid. But I will definitely circle items on here. And then I'll put the next 5 in there. If anyone else wants to. Next week's topic. Set 2. I have my little file, so I can just copy paste, which is so much nicer than typing everything over and over again. And for those of you who aren't sure, mini supplements is just a supplement that might have a whole bunch of stuff, but it's not going to take longer than one stream to go over. It's not miniatures as in like what I like to play with.
A supplement for minis.
Yeah.
It's not like a Mordheim campaign or anything like that.
I can totally spell. Tools and zines. I suspect. I was wondering if people were going to vote for tools since we were on 2-minute tabletop and we mentioned the token generator. I actually think I still have it. When I started my campaign, there was originally going to be, oh God, total we were going to end up having 11 players, which would have been the worst thing in the world. So kind of glad that didn't end up happening. But we had, here we go. I have no idea what her character was named. Oh, yes, I do. 'Cause it was stupid. Is this going to open it up? Oh, it does. Sweet. This is Sunshine, a pink dragonborn that was supposed to be the original dedicated healer in my campaign, and we made it with 2-minute tabletop. And Sunshine sparked a lot of issues for me as a DM and me as a person, because the person who suggested it is a pain, but also insisted that it had to be a half dragon and not just a dragonborn, and that means it has a tail, and that means its parent is a full dragon, and that is incredibly complicated. And then, but this was way before Fizzbonds came out and all the dragons got a secondary breath type. I had to come up with rules for pink dragons where they have a breath weapon and a gas attack, which could heal people. And we came up with this cool idea. I say it was me. Came up with a cool idea that the breath is healing, but it heals anyone who touches it. You can't control who's touched. Like, you can't choose to not hit someone with it. So if like your party's in trouble and your pink dragonborn exhales their gas, whoever's in the field is getting healed, whether they're friend or foe. I thought that would be a really cool mechanic, but we never got to it. But this was made with the 2-minute tabletop token generator. And the first, what I consider my session 0, I ran on Roll20 with a bunch of tokens that we'd made. I made everybody make their token on on 2-minute tabletop's token generator. I was like, if you can't give me a picture, just go make one. It don't matter. Soap bubbles. It's not pink dragonborn, but basically the exact same thing that I had come up with after editing. Someone did make a pink dragonborn race, and then I went in and edited it a little bit. But there is another, I don't think they're called pink dragonborn, but Fizzbonds has a dragon subtype that breeds, that is pink and has healing breath. You know. But now all the dragons have, like, it's part of their unarmed strike, rend, and I'm like, that actually makes it even cooler that you can now, like, scratch people to heal them, I guess, if you're the healing draconic ancestry. That's kind of cool.
There's some fun to have there. But I can only imagine that this player would not have done it justice, so.
I don't know what you're talking about. I was gonna say they were the first person to drop out of my campaign officially, but no, that award technically goes to Piano Knox. He was the first to drop out because his character's all made and has like storyline ties to Grimjack's character, and he hasn't had a chance to ever play. He never joined us.
Wow.
Might not be in Fizzbonds. Somewhere there's more dragons. Because they edited the dragons again right after Fizzbonds, which is stupid. Stop doing that. And they've edited them again since they got to 2024 rules when they're trying to separate them further. Ooh! Speaking of dragons and Fizzbonds and stuff like that, if you have not yet and you have access to Amazon Prime Video, please go watch the first episode of Secret Level because it is a D&D episode and it is
If you have not watched the first episode of Secret Level, if you have not watched Secret Level, go watch that. Then go watch the rest of DM Roundtable that you haven't finished. Then watch some more Secret Level.
Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. If you have small kiddos, though, don't watch the Secret Level Dungeons and Dragons episode because it will absolutely scare the poopy out of their pants.
Toughen them beyond belief.
My kid can absolutely come up with something more horrifying.
I wouldn't. Yeah, no. I'm with you on that one. I'm pretty sure.
Whatever it is, it's not as horrifying as you guys are going to meet a BBEG at one point that came straight out of one of her nightmares.
Oh my god. Fantastic.
And I'm not going to change it at all.
Oh, that's
I'm just going to give it to you guys straight and you'll never be the same.
I hope she puts out the token for whatever it is. This mine, I made it.
If she does, you have to put it up as a patron reward. It's the greatest token of all time. It'll just be a button. It'll be a button that pops up every once in a while.
I love it.
Fantastic. All right. Polls are over. We got 2 votes from the community, so I'll see which one comes in. If anybody else votes for them. But yeah, we are done. We did what we set out to do. This one is, again, pretty small, all things considered, and very, very open-ended for you and your players to go do stuff with. Probably not for first-time DMs, but after that, take it and run with it. And like Garm says, he's not going to come after you for whatever you change. I don't think 2-Minute Tabletop has the resources to hire the Pinkertons, so. But yeah.
Oh, you're sick.
If any of you would like to put in your votes and didn't make it in the Twitch poll, or you're on YouTube, you can leave them in the comment or the VOD, or you can comment on any other video, what have you, and say like, oh, this is what I'm putting in for the vote. If you want to find me on YouTube, you can come to the Discord, put in the Tabletop Scramble Top what your vote is for next week before the poll runs out. And we will see you next week for another episode of DM Roundtable. Because we're in it for the long haul. I don't know if you were there, DM Lacara, last week when I was like, oh, you know, I was going through my files and I was like, I think there's only enough content here for like 4 or 5 years. And then like my brain caught up to what words had come out of my mouth, and I was like, oh, that's a lot. That's a lot of stuff.
And that's without Shin or I contributing anything.
Yeah. We have infinite content over here. But yeah, I definitely think next week's poll will have show and tell on it.
Yeah.
What we're gonna share. Actually, I already know what my first thing I'm gonna share is. Whenever someone brought it up for the first time, I was like, oh, I have something super simple that anyone can use. I'm just gonna share that. Easy peasy.
I have some stuff to comb through, but I think I'll have some good stuff to share. Show and tell.
All right. Until next week, have fun with your games, everyone, and we will see you players of all classes again soon. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Gonna kill Twitch, and then I'm
Don't
gonna kill YouTube. You will not be a blah blah blah.